NDTV has declared a war against hate because whether it is in Chhattisgarh, whether it is in Madhya Pradesh, whether it is in Delhi, whether it is in UP, whether it is elsewhere, there have been a multiplicity of incidents of violence, provocations against people celebrating Christmas, specifically the Christian community. So whether it is religious chants outside a church, whether it is attacks on Christmas markets, whether it is damaging of Santa statues, whether it is threatening people trying to sell Christmas trinkets, this kind of disgusting fringe behavior has stained Christmas 2025. So it breaks my heart on Christmas Day to make this my big debate, but that is the reality that we cannot ignore. Take a look at how it happened.
PM Modi joining the country in Christmas celebrations. The Cathedral Church of Redemption in New Delhi.
मैं देश और दुनिया को क्रिसमस की शुभकामनाएं देता हूं। क्रिसमस का ये उत्सव सभी के जीवन में खुशियां लाए, ये हम सभी की कामना है।
PM's message being marred by these fringe elements, trying to trigger a flashpoint over the festival, defacing the festive spirits soaking the country. In Raipur, a bunch of goons stormed a Christmas celebration and vandalized the decorations. In UP's Bareilly, another band of hotbeds organized a recital of Hanuman Chalisa outside a church. In Assam, a group of VHP goons vandalized the Mary School in Panigaon, raising slogans and damaging festival decorations. In Haryana's Hisar, cops had to be deployed at the 160-year-old St. Thomas Church as VHP and Bajrang Dal announced their plan to recite Hanuman Chalisa in front of the church on Christmas Day. A number of incidents of rowdyism were also seen in several cities in the run-up to the Christmas festivities. Like this video from Jabalpur, where a local BJP leader was seen heckling and abusing a visually challenged woman at a church and accusing her of conversions. Or this bunch of bullies in Odisha's Puri who harassed men selling Santa hats on roadside.
हमको उससे कोई मतलब नहीं, जो चीजें जगन्नाथ देश में नहीं चलेगा। आप बाहर से आके कोई परमिशन नहीं, इधर बैठ के ये क्रिश्चियन चीज बेचोगे नहीं।
This government-owned hotel in Haridwar was forced to cancel Christmas ceremony as right-wing groups objected to Christian celebrations near the Ganga. The opposition parties have hit out at the central government for failing to rein in such groups. Tamil Nadu CM M.K. Stalin said that hate against minorities is rising under the BJP. Congress said that these hooligans all belong to the Sangh.
आप अपने त्योहार मनाइए, अच्छी तरह मनाइए, हम मनाते थे। हनुमान जयंती पे मस्जिद के बाहर जाके नाचने की क्या जरूरत है, उकसाने वाले गाने बजाकर। क्रिसमस है तो आप उनकी चर्च के बाहर जाकर हनुमान चालीसा पढ़ के उनको क्या साबित करना चाहते हैं? ये मेरा धर्म हो ही नहीं सकता, ना ये मेरा देश है, ना मेरी ये सभ्यता है।
TVK chief Vijay also condemned the right-wing attacks on Christmas and called for action. While PM sends out a strong message by participating in Christmas celebrations, the message seems to have lost on some right-wing groups who bring disrepute to the country and our culture with their petty bigotry. The question is, why are these loonies given free run by the state governments? NDTV Bureau Report.
And we've got breaking news coming in now. Congress MP Shashi Tharoor has spoken out about the Christmas vandalism. He's condemned it. He's also, using a Mahabharata metaphor, questioned the silence of the BJP, and the government says he's waiting for the government to break its silence on the Christmas vandalism by fringe groups and one particular BJP leader in Jabalpur that has taken over this entire story this Christmas. Take a look at what Dr. Tharoor has just said.
তার যে ভাষণ, তার যে বক্তব্য,
speech laws. Those who conduct acts of violence, intimidation, needs to ask itself. I do believe that if the government sets an example through strong law and order enforcement, if they go after the people who do this, those who make inflammatory speeches which are openly on record and reported by the media, those could be prosecuted under existing hate speech laws. Those who conduct acts of violence, intimidation, there is a video of a woman assaulting a blind girl in Chhattisgarh. There is another set of evidence about these carolers in Palakkad. Wherever there is evidence, immediately arrest the perpetrators, prosecute them. Let them suffer in jail at Christmas time while judges are on holiday, so they learn the lesson of not committing acts of violence. To my mind, if the government were to take action, I realize law and order is a state subject and therefore it's up to each state government. But it so happens that when state governments take this action and the central government disowns the perpetrators, only then will this stop. Right now, seems to be a silent belief that the people who are doing this are speaking for a majority. I don't believe so. I believe the majority in our country wants coexistence and inclusivity and is unfortunately silent. We need to speak out much more and encourage solidarity. So my going to these churches is an act of solidarity. Equally, when I see whether it's Christian friends, Muslim friends, any other minority community, we had a Sikh Gurudwara, I'm out there with them, laying the foundation stone. I'm very proud that when the Gurudwara comes up in Thiruvananthapuram, one stone that I have laid will be part of it, part of the foundations. To my mind, all of this is very important. This is not a country that was ever meant to be a narrow set of people's land where all others are treated as second class. On the contrary, this is a country which has always, throughout history, had room for everyone who has come and made it.
So not one, not two, not three, not four, not five, but 6, if not 7 instances of Christmas vandalism by fringe groups like the VHP, the Bajrang Dal, in one particular case, a BJP leader tormenting a visually impaired person who was selling some Christmas trinkets, have become the most shameful stain on Christmas celebrations this year, on a day when the Prime Minister was in church, reaching out to the Christian community, affirming that India is a country of harmony and a place of freedom for all religions. That's what the shameless fringe was doing, because it clearly hasn't got the message. Critics of the BJP say that this is the kind of message that the fringe has always gotten, and they've been emboldened to do this kind of thing. But remember, the Prime Minister was in church today like he has been every year on Christmas. So why do these extremists stain the reputation of the country, the reputation of India's freedom of religion, by conducting themselves in this manner? And why is no action being taken against them just yet? You've just heard Shashi Tharoor, perhaps the most eloquent Congress MP, call it out. Someone who's known to be flirting with the BJP in many ways and being close to them, has called out the BJP and says, why are they silent? When will they speak out against this? Let's talk about this. Joining me live now, Harish Mohammad Ibrahim is a political analyst, Rahul Ishwar, activist, Dr. Nisha Nujumuddin is an activist. Dr. John Dayal, ex-member of the National Integration Council and advocate. Vineet Jindal, also a political analyst. Rahul Ishwar, I'll come to you first. These were not stray incidents. There was a pattern seen across different cities, from a visually impaired girl selling some Christmas trinkets being tormented by a BJP leader, to the VHP and Bajrang Dal, people provocatively trying to disrupt celebrations in different other places, breaking of Christmas statues of Santa Claus, trinkets, carts being overturned. This is not the India, one is comfortable with. How is this happening? And I have to point out, Rahul, that this has happened in a larger way than in previous years. One does see stray incidents now and then, but here we're seeing it in a rampant fashion.
Yeah. Shivarurji, two submissions. As you know, I'm a Hindu right-wing activist. But as a Hindu, practicing Hindu and a proud Hindu, I would like to express regret and apologize to our Christian brothers across India for the sad incidents that happened. It's unfortunate, and people like Vivekananda, this is the picture of the Belur Mud celebrations, if some people can see. One of the best Christmas Eve celebrations in India happens in the greatest Hindu philosopher or saint, Vivekananda's Belur Mud, where Hindu saints, take arati of both Jesus Christ and Mother Mary. This has been our tradition and culture, for all the time, and we should definitely be upholding it. There may be some pending debates that people like me will have to take with John Dayalji on forced conversions and the other things, but this is not an occasion for it. There is a larger subtext and debate, but beyond that, violence is absolutely bad. Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas is the right way ahead. You can call it Gandhian way, you can call it Vivekananda's way, or you can call it Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas. Modi ji is doing the right thing. See, this is not politics. Beyond politics, Modi ji is showing the right example by going to a church and showing by example and doing by example. I hope beyond politics we should appreciate that, and people like Shashi Tharoor rightly points out to that. And one more thing, I belong to a state of Kerala, and we are proud to belong to that part of South where the oldest Christian church in the world is there in Kerala. 400 years before the Holy Papacy or the Holy Rome or Vatican, we have our own Christian churches. So it pains me, and my son studies in a Christian school. I have studied in a Christian school. Our generation of people studied in Christian institutions. So they have done tremendous service. There are some pending debates. I'm not saying no, but at the same point of time, we Hindus should take lead in restoring a sense of harmony and calm, and that is the message that people like Vivekananda and Gandhiji have
also, because if no action is taken against these people, and six instances makes it clear that this is not just a random one-off kind of thing. These people are fearlessly going around in full public view and tormenting and vandalizing and creating tensions. That is the problem here. Dr. Dayal, the Prime Minister was in church. Wonderful images, not the first time. He's always there in church on Christmas. It is the message that he sends out is a very, very positive one. He tweets about it on social media as well. Why is this happening in your view, sir?
May I first of all greet you and wish you a Merry Christmas.
And to you and your family, sir.
A Merry Christmas, and your viewers, you and your viewers, a Merry Christmas. I wish more people wished each other Merry Christmas or Happy Diwali, or as the case may be. That would be good. I thank Mr. Modi as a Christian for going to a church. It is not my church. I go to my parish near my house, not to the big church. But I still am so happy he went there. I hope he found some peace of Christ there. But he goes to church almost every year since he took office as the Prime Minister. The symbolism of that visit has had no impact on those who follow him. The symbolism has been lost to the dog whistle. If only he were to call up chief ministers and his own home minister, Mr. Amit Shah, and tell them that Amit Shah-ji, Prime Minister Narendra Modi, will not tolerate violence against not only Sikhs, but against anybody who belongs to a religious minority or ethnic minority, or whatever the case may be. That would really send out a message. But even in this day and this world, even tokenism has to be welcomed. He need not have gone there.
Dr. Nisha, do you think the government or the BJP should come out and put a stop to this, or at least send out a more direct message? You've just heard Dr. Shashi Tharoor say he's waiting for the ruling dispensation to break its silence.
See, I personally believe that, religion, there is no negotiation with regard to the faith of people. And I would love to wish the people across the world in India a Merry Christmas. But such kind of fringe acts is very, very disappointing. And I strongly stand with government, and I really appreciate the act done by our Honorable Prime Minister Modi as well. In spite of whatever is happening, he has really showcased the kind of, a peaceful activity and the kind of support he extends to every religion. So now, governance over polarization is something that we need to focus, because Prime Minister Modi's framework is exclusively focused on inclusive development, right, and not on any religious dominance. And now we need to understand development is the strongest antidote to division. And now faith is always welcome, but fear is not. Having said that, we also need to understand that we should never let the fringe define the frame, because such kind of incidents will lead to a national crisis, as what we are seeing today. And law and order is a state subject, and we should not let such kind of issues to be encouraged or motivated. So now we know that India is a home to millions of Christians, no doubt about it, and 10,000 of searches we do have. As my co-panelist Rahul Ishwar said, I totally stand with him. No matter you be a Hindu, Muslim, Christian, doesn't matter. It all depends upon how you accept the democratic perspective of a country, India. And to strongly tell you from a very, very strong point of view, I would say that festive season should not be politicized. That's what I would say, because outrage should follow evidence and not hashtags, right? And now when such kind of things are happening, when we are kind of blaming a broad group, we need to understand that the broad group doesn't come under the fringe category. And I would truly say,
Advocate Jindal, the government, the BJP has said in the past as well that they are not responsible for fringe activities, but ultimately a message has to be sent out. The Prime Minister is on a mission for Viksit Bharat. We are a country that has many international ambitions as well. This kind of thing is not only traumatizing for a community, but it just makes India look bad as well. That's secondary, but I'm saying that's also important, Advocate Jindal. What do you think needs to happen?
Yes, Shivji, I agree with you, and I must say that if you're talking about political things, violence is never be beneficial for any political party. So take apart, but BJP cannot acknowledge or cannot support this kind of vandalism or this kind of violence. Definitely, the Honorable Prime Minister must say that this kind of action, as the certain people has been taking violent kind of thing against a particular community or a particular religion. That is wrong. We all agree upon this. But definitely, as one of the panelists says, there are several questions also being raised there, because the people of they are saying that we are minority, but the way the conversion has been taken place in India, that is very big question right now. The people has been very conscious. Supreme Court in 2022 in its judgment specifically stated about this thing, that conversion with the way conversion in India has been taking place, this is a very dangerous precedent. Right, recently, 2025, Allahabad High Court passed a specific judgment upon this particular thing.
But I take the point you're making, but this has nothing to do with conversion. How do a bunch of guys standing outside a church in Bareilly chanting the Hanuman Chalisa, which is a holy prayer which we all keep in our hearts, how does that tackle conversion? Conversion is a separate issue. There are laws to tackle it. There are legislations, there are regulations. We have a judiciary that can tackle it. This is fringe gundagiri. Let's separate the two things.
Definitely, I agree with you. And at very beginning, I was stating the same thing. But the point is, there are people who has been facing this kind of difficulties, and those who has been trying to protect their right to their religion, they are also become violent. So we must understand the people would be educated about this thing, that look, our constitution gives a right to certain people. They can perform their rituals, they can perform their religious things. So let it be. If someone has any grievance against anyone, they can file a complaint. There are certain rules. I
have done my research. I've done my research on these. I take your point, Vineet. I'm just saying that in these 6 instances that we are covering here on NDTV, I, as a reporter, have gone into the heart of it. Harish, I'll bring you in on this. There has been no visible violation, no transgression of any law in this. There is no conversion happening, first of all. no law has been broken. These are people trying to sell trinkets. Celebration of Christmas is, last I checked, there is no law against it. Harish, a message has to go out. No ifs or buts.
Of course, my heart is bleeding to see the festival of joy becoming a festival of sorrow for the Christians across India, and my sincere Merry Christmas to each and every Indians. And our country is always harmonious, and it is a plural in nature, and that is our social fabric of this great nation, and it has given us tremendous image across the world for our harmonious living. But having said that, whatever which has happened can be done and put into halt within a second by the Home Minister. If there is a will, there is a way. And the Home Minister can do it in a whisk if he want to do it. But there is no will. That is what it has become a rampant event across cities, state after state, and to particularly where the BJP rules. So once you become minorities, that too when the Muslims of hooliganism, lynching has been happening on a daily occurrence, which has been now pretext, and it has been regularized. Now the shift has been starting towards the Christians, which is the second minority. So these can't be our image which the India possesses, which the Indian democracy process to the world. We have to change this. This has to stop at any given point of time.
Okay.
Hooliganism and vandalism is not how you grow your own religion. Article 14, 15, 21, 22, 25 has given the royal rights to each and every citizen of this great nation. We have to protect that constitution at any given point of time. There has to be a will by the ruling administration to put all these kind of vandalism in place, and they have to make sure these Bajrang Dal, BHP, and all the RSS back fringe elements to not go ahead and celebrate their religions over the supremacy. These kind of inferiority complex is the only thing which is happening.
Rahul wants to add to that. Rahul, go ahead.
Just one thing. See, I don't belong to RSS, but at the same point of time, RSS has a Muslim Rashtriya Manch and an Isai Rashtriya Manch. It is not very active. It should be more active. And as John Dayal sir knows, see, we are not talking from the point of view of a fringe, but a person like Mahatma Gandhi, who is known for a harmonious pluralist or secular credentials, has spoken about the need for a debate about at least anti-forced conversion law. And people like Maulana Abul Kalam Azad that said. But as I said, this is not the occasion for it. This is an occasion to stand in solidarity with our Christian community, but there is a debate pending. Let us be honest about it. See, we have to be very politically honest about such sensitive things. There is a pending debate on that, but at the same point of time, Christian community is the pride of us. We have all studied in Christian institutions. A good many percentage of Indian institutions have been contributions of Christians. We should uphold it. But there is another side to it. If we are not addressing it, the fringe will only get emboldened by it. Fringe will only get strengthened by it, because the reasonable moderate should take that debate forward with people like John Dayal sir.
Okay, Dr. John Dayal, do you want to address that? Rahul says the vandals should be acted against, but one cannot ignore issues of conversion and religious conversion and things like that. And if we ignore that, it will only embolden the vandals. You're on mute, Dr. Dayal. Go ahead.
Issues of religious freedom to profess and propagate religion were settled in the Constituent Assembly and are part of a law. The 12 states which have formulated anti-conversion laws have carried it further and banned. In this country of 120 crore Hindus, is it possible to have forcible conversions by anybody? The chap will be thrashed to an inch of his life. Everybody is a Hindu practically. The Supreme Court, the Prime Minister, his cabinet, every DGP in town, and every Thanedar in town. The point is not this, sir. The point that I wish to make, and I'll be very happy, not only I, 1,000 Christians would be very happy to debate it with him and with anybody else in any language of their choice. So that is not an issue. The issue is the symbolism and the good intent of the Honorable Prime Minister of India, Mr. Narendra Modi, must overwhelm, quench, and silence the dog whistle of these people. Don't call it a fringe element. What is a fringe? 1%, 0.5%, 1/10%? 1/10% of a million, of 120 crores is a very large number, sir.
Yeah,
and we cannot afford to have so many loonies roaming around the countryside.
Dr. Nisha, this is a point. The point is, as Dr. Dayal says, the fringe is a tiny, tiny entity. But the images that you see, they tarnish the good work being done by the Prime Minister. The Prime Minister is invested in harmony. The Prime Minister is invested in development. Viksit Bharat cannot happen if this kind of vandalism takes place, as Harish also said. So this is, the ball is in the government's court. I agree with Harish when he says that this can be stopped. It is within the powers of the government to stop this stuff.
See, the government cannot go and sit on the heads of everybody and keep changing what they want to do and what they shouldn't do. To some extent, they can put out a rule, they can put out certain perspective. We need to understand that we believe in Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, right? And Sabka Saath doesn't mean silence on wrongdoing. And Sabka Vishwas means upliftment without religious pressures. Let us celebrate Christmas. Let us protect even those people who are being into forced conversions, like how Mr. Ravulish also pointed out, because we know that the issue of the tribals being, forced to do conversions. So let us celebrate Christmas. Let us protect tribals and let us punish those fringe people. That's the constitutional India, because development should unite faith and they should not replace them. This is the idea that the government is also putting out. The government is not saying that you should not develop. Rather, you develop. Rather, that should be in unity, not in division mode, right? And by the way, we all need to understand that the fringe groups do not represent the nation. That is indeed very well to be understood, right? And because they do not reflect the government policy, nor do they define the national character. I mean, right? India is governed by the constitution, not by any fringe
totally
slogans,
agree with
right?
you. But this is a very, very, very big fringe.
No, but may I also say that, I don't think we should care too much about the Western media and narrative. I'm a person who doesn't subscribe to that. But in tomorrow's front pages in all the Western nations, you will have pictures of the vandalism. You will not have pictures of Modi in church. Let me be very clear about that. The New York Times will be licking its lips, saying, oh, wonderful, a statue of Santa Claus being trashed by, 5 or 6 vandals is a lovely front page picture for the New York Times. It will not be the Prime Minister in church. It will not be the Prime Minister spending a lovely few hours with the Christian community. That is the point I'm making. Yes, Advocate Jindal, you wanted to come in quickly, then I'll go to Harish.
Yes, Shiv, I just must make one point that as Mr. John Dayal recently said that there is no forced conversion has been happening in India. I must say there are more than 400 cases has been lodged and more than 800 people has been arrested. There are 4 states who has been making law for that particular thing. So don't say this. First of all, in the shade of minority, you cannot say this. This is not happening. So please, one. The second thing is, do not victimize the people who has been in majority in the name of minority. So please, we must understand this thing that this is a very big question and we need to take care of this thing.
What was that?
We need to take care of this. Otherwise, the situation will be very grave for all the people, not only for the minority, it is also for the majority.
Okay. Quick, Dr. Dayal, very quick, 30-second rebut, and I want to go to Harish and Rahul.
Sir, I have been repeatedly saying the laws of the land must be implemented for John Dayal, for Christians, for Hindus, for the fringe benefit of the Hindus, which runs into crores. But
people need to understand that, Shiv, I want to add a point here with regard to the conversions when they're talking, with regard to forced conversion. Let me tell you something. See, freedom of faith does not include freedom to exploit vulnerability. And what are people doing? You cannot deny the fact that, forced conversions are not happening and you try to cover it under the name of charity. What does it mean?
But we
that
have
is
to
absolutely not permissible.
I am denying the fact.
I will say message here. Then the vandals are not going to be called off. The point is, nobody can give these guys a free run. Harish, I'm a cynical journalist. At the end of the day, my cynicism tells me that politicians will ultimately not do anything unless there is some electoral benefit or some immediate foreseeable benefit. I see the Tamil Nadu and Kerala elections coming up, 2 states with sizable Christian populations. The cynic in me is wondering whether that will be an incentive to send out some kind of a message. I don't know. I'm just speculating. But I'm wondering whether that crosses the politicians' minds.
No. As of Tamil Nadu is concerned, we are a coexisting, harmonious state where all kind of religious practices have been emulated and all kind of religious festivals is being celebrated on each and every home. We cut Christmas cake by today morning, and we went to the Christmas carol by yesterday night. So it doesn't mean that we have been doing appeasement politics in Tamil Nadu. And the sensibility of the people will always prevail in Tamil state. And having said that, you can't go ahead and equate the vandalism to what the forced conversion is. The forced conversion is a crime which the article is also enacted. And also, if there is a forced conversion, the Supreme Court has given us certain mandatory policies which has to be checks and balances done by the state government. So you can't go ahead and dilute the vandalisms which has been happening rampant today across state by state to the crime which has been happening then and there across the state, where it has to be persecuted. There is no second thought about it. But you can't go ahead and keep aside the vandalism by these fringe elements on the day of the festival of joy to be diluted by bringing those events in place at this point of time is what my...
You almost out of time. Final 60 seconds to Rahul. Go ahead.
Just one submission. I have always told, I'm a proud Hindu right-wing activist. We shouldn't balance violence with any kind of an intellectual debate. Yes, there needs to be some debate, but at the same point of time, we Hindus should never take law into our hands. This will only shame Hindu community. This will shame India internationally, and such kind of things, beating Santa Claus and all. It pains every Indian, irrespective of religion. See, we have all been children. We have been brought up with Santa stories, or people belong to all religion. People beating down Santa really pains the heart out. So I would request my Hindu, right-wing or ultra-right-wing brothers, there can be a debate, but this is not the way to go ahead. Non-violence is non-negotiable. We cannot go on a rampage and try to force a debate into this.
I will only end by saying that having met the Prime Minister a few times, I know that his vision has no place for this. One can debate endlessly about the politics that has brought the BJP till this point, but the Viksit Bharat vision has no place for religious disharmony and hatred. It is of a higher level, it is of a higher caliber, and it needs to make less and less space for this kind of thing happening. Let's have no ifs or buts about this discussion. Thank you very much, Dr. Dayal, Rahul, Harish, Dr. Nisha, and Advocate Jindal. Pleasure. Merry Christmas to you all and to all of your families as well. Thank you for being with me tonight on India Matters.